8th of September 2024, where I am absolutely ass hurt that other fellow content creators are getting money from Russia and I don't. I mean, how hard is it? Just pay me. You know, Ors brought an interesting thing. It's like, well, V, you don't have a large audience. It's like, yeah, if I was to get $100,000 per video, how much money do you want to bet that I would have a larger audience? Or fucking put a billboard.
I mean, you'd be able to devote a hell of a lot more time and a lot more, like, energy.
I would get a billboard. I would be like one of the first VTubers with a fucking billboard in the United States. Like, join this channel. Definitely not paid by the Russians.
Man, with 100K, that's an army of Fiverr slaves you can freaking
hire. Shit, yeah, you can go to Fiverr and you can actually ask people to do the Mormon stuff and go door to door and like shill it to people in live. It's like, yeah, you need to check out this channel. This guy has some really insightful thing to say, you know?
No, I mean the whole deal with the money though. You're right. With the amount of money that you'd be able to get from that kind of thing, you'd be able to hire people to continuously make shorts of your clips and like all of your videos. Like they would be able to make an actual vault of all of your stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, you'd automatically gain more audience just by the presence of your videos.
Yeah. So question.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
Did you learn something from all of this with the content creators taking money from Russia? Did you get like a moral out of it?
Moral?
Yeah, is there a moral to the story?
Well, the moral is that, like, you know, if you're gonna accept money, be a little smarter about it.
Yeah, get from APAC, right?
Yeah, get a super PAC.
Yeah, get a super PAC, or get money. Oh my fucking god! Did you see the Ben Shapiro coverage of Tim Pool?
No, I haven't.
Oh my god!
I don't listen to Shapiro.
All right. I'll tell you. So he's basically grilling. Like, just use your imagination, because I'm not going to play it on the stream, right? So use your imagination. You know, you have Beanie over there, and he's like, well, you know, I mean, I didn't know where the money is coming from, Ben. I didn't know. And then Ben is like, oh, that's very concerning. Just a quick moment from our sponsor. You know, sorry, Ben is like, you know, taking money from foreign governments. That is, And then a word from our sponsor. Do you want to support Israel? You can buy this product from the Holy Land. Israel needs your support. It's like, and that's not edited.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, that's not edited. That's not, you know, like, because when I saw it on Twitter, I was like, no way, this is a bit. Like, someone just made fun. But no, it's like the actual episode, the actual thing.
Yep. But, like, I don't get, man. I don't get it. Like, the absolute speed at which he flip-flopped on all of that shit is just whiplash-inducing. Holy shit, man.
Do you want a larger audience or a modern one, though? I love the fact that they're not the same.
I'll go with the larger audience. That's where the money is. Fuck's sakes.
So anyway,
we've all seen how well modern audience.
Yeah, we'll go to Concord in a bit, and there are 2 viewers. But you basically said that. What did you say about Tim Pool? Do you think he feels like he dodged the bullet?
I don't know. I don't think, like, the bullet hasn't landed yet. It's the rare instance where you hear the gunfire before the bullet really hits.
It's like a sniper rifle.
This is just the start. It's just the start, right? They haven't, like, the case and docket are still open. So until that shit's closed, he's not out from under the scope.
Well, no, but like Lauren Chen, right? She got her YouTube channel terminated, and there was like another person, I forgot his name, and Tim Pool did it. So like he must feel that at least he managed to dodge the first bullet.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you didn't get instantly, like, vaped off the face of YouTube, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
But, like, are you sure Lauren Chen's channel
Yes, I'm telling you, like, this was in the news. Do you not follow the quartering? How can you live without watching the quarter? You need to subscribe to him on Twitter. He tells you.
You had told me, but then I checked, and it was still there for me at the time. But that was a couple of days ago.
No. She got zooked. FDR, thank you for the 50 memberships. Holy shit, that's a lot.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
50. Holy shit.
Yeah, 50. Yeah. No, Lauren Chen actually got her entire channel terminated. And there was like another person that did. I forgot their name. I don't follow these content creators, or I do not know who they are. I mean, I know my name, but I don't know, like, if you're asking me about the content, like what do they cover and stuff like that. I genuinely don't know.
Well, I don't listen to Tenet either. Not my kind of material. I just know that it's like if Lauren Chen got nuked, and I just checked there because like the last time
Why do you
I checked
not
it the
believe
first
me?
time
Why
before-
are you like Thomas the Unbeliever? Like
No,
you need to.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Like it's gone now. But when you
Alright.
first messaged me on Discord about it, I had clicked and it was still there, and I was like, huh. Maybe it's a Twitter thing or whatever.
No,
I was checking it while I was at work.
Yeah, she got zooked. Look, I opened Twitter and the first news that pops out, and I didn't include it in the segment. Cooties is no longer available on Netflix.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It ain't so be.
Yeah, there were so many people on Twitter waiting for the director's cut, but apparently. Yeah.
Director's cut?
Yeah, didn't they get sued by Texas?
I think they did the pageant, one of the pageant corporations, and they're really big in Texas. There's like an entire circuit of those down basically in this like Central South or whatever. But like, what were they actually waiting for, like the Snyder cut or what?
You know, if it was an anime version, I don't think Netflix would have streamed it from the beginning. So,
yeah, a little bit too much cute and funny in there.
did she get zooked or did she wipe it herself? No, she got zooked. And there was like another person. Okay, we're all over the place because of the super chats. But back to the original topic. Yeah, Lauren Chen got zooked. And there was another guy that got zooked. And I think that Tim Pool is probably sweating bullets right now. Because all these people, they had connections to YouTube. They had managers. They probably had their own agencies and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, anyone with that many followers would have like an entire like little background team just to handle that shit.
Yeah. But let me tell you the funny part. Apparently, people are digging into this company. Tenet? What's it called?
Yeah, Tenet Incorporated.
Yeah. And apparently they were crying internally because the people they hired are less interested in promoting Tenet and more interested in promoting themselves. So basically they're saying it's like we're giving all these rubles, we're giving the blood and sweat of the Russian people so that the grifters are only grifting for themselves. It's like, how does this work?
Oh shit, dude. So what? Like they took the megaphone. They were supposed to kind of push whatever. So
yeah, they were
saying that. What is it, like on a Teams chat or some shit like that?
Yeah, no, it's kind of like
people not doing what we paid them for.
Yeah, imagine like a company like, I don't know, Face Connect, right? And all the talent is just promoting themselves rather than promoting Face Connect at all. So like they're a little bit upset now. It's like, well, why aren't they promoting us? You know?
Yeah, okay, now I understand from the VTuber perspective there, yeah.
Mr. Poor for years has been saying that YouTube or the establishment wants to censor his podcast. With this money, he just gave them the ammo they need. Yeah, but they're not going after him, so...
They're not going after him yet.
Yeah, but like, you would think if they had it in for him. This is like one of the things that I always said about Tim Pool. You know, he's got the victim mentality, and it's like, oh, this censorship is coming. And there was the time during the pandemic, I don't know how many people remember that, but there was a time if you even mentioned COVID in any way, shape, or form, that video would get demonetized, right?
Yeah,
so like
instantaneously, just by the word getting interpreted by the automatic like transcriptor thing.
Guess who submitted for the beta to talk about COVID?
Oh no. What?
Yeah, Tim Pool. So you're telling me that the guy who's like one of the first people that's allowed to talk about it is like, oh, the YouTube is going after him. It's looming. It's the sword of Damocles. It's like, come on, dude. Come on. Like, I would believe it from a Steven Crowder. I would believe it. Well, even from the Hodge twins, I wouldn't believe it. It's like, there are certain people that you know, they're on the right, but like, they're not going to get zooked. They're not going to get banned.
No, but then again, at the same time, in counter operation security shit, like whenever you're dealing with this kind of stuff, you never close all spigots. You leave one spigot open, just in case you can catch some more shit while you're doing your data collection and your investigation. You usually leave a trickle to try to catch any other like little fish that would try to get through. So, I'm saying that until we see the actual docket close, Tim Pool is not safe, so he should be sweating bullets.
Well, I mean, he probably has lawyered up, because like I remember he genuinely.
Oh, yeah, I would assume so. Tenet has probably an entire legal team ready to go for this one.
Yeah. I know that he didn't expect the DOJ to be responsible because at first he thought that this is like the media writing shit about him, and then it's like, oh, this is an official DOJ statement. Oh.
Yeah. When it's an actual sign sealed and delivered with the letterhead and everything, like you know you're in trouble.
Masaka. But like here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it like every single fucking election the same story? Because like there's an old video with Kamala Harris back in the day, and she's like, Russians cannot hack a piece of paper. A piece of paper is sacred. It cannot be hacked. You know? Have you seen that on Twitter? It's going around.
I did not. What the fuck?
No, this is from back then. Huh? Yeah, this is from back then. The Democrats didn't used to trust the sacred voting machines. Did you not know?
A piece of paper can't be hacked sounds like the same logic when they were saying the internet is just a bunch of tubes.
No, it's basically like there was a time before the Democrats became the tech priests, the Astra Mechanicum, where they're worshipping the holy voting machine. And they were like, no, we need paper, we need paper. And I was like, no, the voting machine, everyone needs it, even Brazil, send it to Brazil. The Dominion, you know? And it's like, YouTube is like, if you say anything bad about the Dominion, we will ban your ass. And I'm like, no, Dominion is sacred. I mean, like, no, you cannot have democracy without Dominion. I think the ancient Greeks, when they made their democracy, they had Dominion voting machines.
Of course.
It goes hand in hand, yeah.
They ran on those potato batteries that we all get taught how to make in high school. For sure. No, I'm not a fan of closed source voting machines. There's a lot of shenanigans that can happen, and we've all seen the videos where like you tap on one part of the screen and it makes the cursor go elsewhere.
Yeah,
like with those accidental, mysterious, selective.
Oh, the best explanation I heard.
Calibration shit.
The best explanation I heard, I think it was like space rays can change the qubit. And what? It's like, what the fuck? It's like, what?
Yeah, that's some Kevin Mitnick nonsense there. But yeah. So I'm always along the lines like anything that has an audit trail is better than something that's just digital, because digital is easy to lose and it's easy to manipulate. So.
No one expects the American Inquisition, says we Wuhatan. All right, speaking of conspiracies, I got one. Are you familiar with Nikocado Avocado?
Is that the mukbang guy?
Yeah. The jolly individual. He's kind of the Santa Claus body shape, you know?
I'm familiar with him because he came up in a lot of YouTube, like in a lot of YouTube like thumbnails. Yeah. But I've never watched any of those videos.
So basically, hold on. Let me show you what his YouTube looks like. So you kind of.
I've seen him come up on a couple of threads, like when I'm browsing around places. But
yeah. He's kind of like an internet meme.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. So as you can see there, just by looking at the thumbnails, you kind of get the type of content that he is making. Right, so it's the type of thing that TikTok would promote to young Americans, you know? It's like, but anyway, right?
Things that are almost borderline visible self-harm.
Now, if you look at the first picture, you notice something different than the others. Like there's something off.
Well, yeah, there's a big change.
Yeah, it's called 2 steps ahead. So allegedly, what he has been doing is that he pre-recorded 2 years worth of video footage and has been losing weight all this time while uploading videos of him gorging himself from 2 years ago. And he also had drama with other content creators, so apparently that may have been pre-recorded as well, so that he can appear in a video being slim, like Slim Shady, and saying it's like, I am 2 steps ahead. This has been a social experiment. I am 2 steps ahead.
Man, you want to talk about OPSEC? This guy managed to keep his weight loss under wraps as probably one of the biggest YouTubers. Like, no one spotted him on the street or took a video or photo of him, like, in public over 2 years and didn't notice that this guy had not put on the weight. Man, like, is this guy, like, what is that? Is this guy a poster child for Ozempic?
Which is why I am leaning into being like Thomas the Unfaithful. You know, like, I genuinely do not believe until I see the flappy skin. He is the only man that I want to see shirtless. I don't
Yeah,
want to see
yeah,
other
yeah.
dimensional. I don't know if
Where are
this.
the stretch marks? If he lost that kind
Yes.
of weight that fast,
Yes.
he hasn't gotten through the hardest part, which is getting rid of the excess skin.
Yes. So basically, it's either in my mind. I'm not saying this is the case, but it's what I personally believe, which may not be real. But I think it's either a deepfake, a body double, or something like that. Until I see the flappy skin, I am not convinced.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that because he does mention social experiment. The social experiment is not done until it's done. We could just be in the middle phase.
Yeah, basically, the reason I don't believe it is like, what's easier? As you mentioned, having the best OPSEC in the world, pre-recording 2 years of video footage, making sure that...
the drama, man. What the fuck?
Including the drama, making sure that no one sees you on the street, right? Or just using some modern 2024 AI bullshit, like deepfake level. I don't know. It's just...
I don't know. AI isn't at that level yet, man.
It's not. But you have like facial...
There's still too many visible glitches and shit.
Yeah, but you have like facial modification software and shit, you
True.
know? So you don't really need like to create all of the video.
Man, Joao in your chat says maybe he never got fat and it was just a fake suit and makeup.
What? Yeah,
that's a
that's...
Hollywood makeup job if so, man. Like, it ain't impossible, but what a work. Holy frick.
I mean, to be honest, right? He does have millions of viewers, so like he would have the money for something like that. Pixar magic is what they call.
Definitely. I mean, if that was the case, that's an entire portfolio's worth for whatever makeup company that did that work. That's a portfolio for the rest of their careers. Like, look what we did. We convinced an entire audience of millions of people that this guy was actually 450 pounds or whatever.
Now people are saying he didn't lose weight naturally and he took pills. I don't want to rob this away from him. Like, if he actually... See, the thing is, I don't believe he lost weight. But if he lost weight, there's no reason to believe that he took pills. He may have actually just get on a diet.
Yeah, I joked about Ozempic, right? Because Ozempic really is apparently a miracle drug for that kind of thing.
Is it?
And I'm not a medical professional. Just what the general opinion on the internet is when you search that shit. But like, if he actually lost that weight legit, that is some epic willpower display, like right there, like seriously. But until we see the stretch marks, it's anybody's game.
I want to touch. I want to be like Thomas from the Apostle of Jesus.
I want to test the flesh.
I want to touch the flesh.
Oh my God, G, what the hell's wrong with you? Playing with the AI has corrupted you, man. What the hell?
But look, man, it's what it takes to convince an Eastern European. We've been bullshitting for so long. It's like, until we touch it and see it for ourselves, we don't believe it.
Oh, disgusting.
Oh, you actually gave me this news. Okay. Navy chief conspired to get themselves illegal warship Wi-Fi. Get the fuck out.
This is network.
This is not real. That no one is this stupid. All right, let me read it.
Yes, it is. It is real, and they got court-martialed for it. They took an actual Starlink pod, attached the pod to a wooden, like basically a half pallet, and stuck it on the front left of the ship.
No fucking way. Alright, so today's Navy sailors are familiar with the jarring loss of internet connectivity. For a variety of reasons, including operational security, a crew's internet access is regularly restricted while underway to preserve bandwidth for the mission. And also to keep them safe from shit that happened in Ukraine with like the Redditors. Do you remember that?
Absolutely fucking wild. Yeah.
But the senior enlisted leaders among the combat ship Manchester's Gold Crew knew no such privation last year when they secretly used their very own Wi-Fi network during deployment. Do you think like the reason they got caught is because they wouldn't share the password?
Well, I think they got caught because of the network name. I want me to go into this because it's quite a fucking story.
Oh, okay. The dubbed Stinky. Oh, I see.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It was a Wi-Fi network marked Stinky. If they would have been smart and they would have just put it in like with a like Wi-Fi ID or
ABE
whatever,
3571255
HP printer 2107 or like Dave's mobile hotspot or whatever the fuck, right? It could just be people sharing a goddamn connection. But they took an actual goddamn pod, and these Starlink things, these things broadcast real loud, right?
Yeah.
When you're talking about like picking up shit, right? It's not like it's a laser going off into the sky. Shit broadcasts.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like setting up a nice beacon out in the middle of nowhere. If someone really takes a whatever sensor equipment or radio detecting equipment or whatever the fuck, you can actually hear that shit out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, if you're close to your enemy. But at
Yeah,
the
so
end
it's
of the
not
day,
it's not good AppSec, yeah.
no, it's horrible. I mean, I can understand
It's like,
why because
oh,
like,
I know what it is. I know. It's like the Emperor Beacon in 40K.
yeah. Now, speaking from what one of my old friends was talking about, like way back in 2015, and this shit changes for the military in the U.S. all the time. So if there's people who know more and have more recent information, they're probably right. But here's how it used to work: Wi-Fi available for like on ships that allow that kind of shit to phone home or do whatever the fuck they want to do for like their like off hours. That shit's super expensive on those ships because they have to go through a like defense security certified communication contractor, which sets up all of this Wi-Fi shit on the ship. Now, these guys wanted to get around this thing by using Starlink, which, we know the rest of that stuff. But get this. I think it's a lieutenant commander or something like that. The officer that did this, like, she was already certified in internet security, ops security, and all of that shit.
She.
Yeah, well,
She.
yeah, well, the article uses the feminine declarative.
I have seen the picture. Yes, I like.
Yeah, well, we can't assume, right?
No, we can't
You gotta
assume.
be careful.
Yes.
Who knows? It might
knows,
be illegal in our country suddenly. But get this, man. She's certified in this shit. She went through all of the song and dance to get her OPSEC and her like intelligence security shit, and then she pulls this off with the worst Wi-Fi ID possible.
Not legacy, aristocratic utensil, not legacy.
Not legacy?
Not legacy.
But yes, it was indeed a woman, strangely enough,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I dare say what the DEI is going on.
What the DEI is going on?
Like they're putting these kinds of broadcasters on U.S. warships.
Do you know
warship? What the fuck, man? This is just.
Are you aware of the Astronomicon?
Oh yeah.
All right. So like in 40K, the Emperor just creates this magical light in the warp, so people know where north is, right?
Yeah.
It's probably what she did.
We do not know how this technology works. We just know that when we chant this way, it does so.
It's what she did with Starlink. She created a beacon for all the Tyranids to see.
A beacon lit in the warp. Oh, but like seriously, from an IT perspective, that's so ludicrously bad. I can't imagine what the thought process was for someone to go through and think that this was a good idea on a ship.
What is the punishment? Obviously, she's going to be deranked. Is she getting years in the brig or?
I don't know. Truth be told, there's a lot about that whole JAG shit that I'm not really aware of. But I mean, getting a pay D rank is probably going to be the minimum. Probably getting discharged is possible because that's gross incompetence on the communication and operation security side, and it's in violation of, I would say, at least half a dozen regulations about bringing foreign communication equipment on board a ship without the captain's knowledge. Like, there's a whole stack of shit that they're probably going to slap her in the face with. But at the end of the day, what will be the punishment? Because I think this is the first time that we've ever had this kind of an event inside the U.S. military.
Do you think that she paid for it with her personal debit card?
You know what? If it turns out that she bought this using like some sort of internal requisition from the military, I would backflip. Like,
so basically, hold on. We every single time I talk about some niche thing, a subscriber is like, "When I was in the U.S. Navy, can I talk about some shit that none of you know?" Like when I'm at parties and I talk about this stuff, like everyone is like googly eyes, like, "Well, he knows this fringe stuff." And when I'm on YouTube, it's like everyone is like, "Well, actually, when I was in the U.S. Navy, you only sent emails when we had scheduled transmission times. Lots of restrictions on what could be in the email, and it had to be very short as well because you know what, loose lip sync ships."
Yeah, that's right. Short transmissions, minimal information. The window is always the same. Like there are a lot of regulations on these ships. Like it's the same equivalent of turning on the red lights inside when it's dark out on the water, right? Ooh. You want to be as minimally detectable and as secure as possible when you're in the process of traveling from any port to destination. That's just fucking basic goddamn security. And these guys stick the equivalent of an internet bullhorn.
Brandon K says, but this is America. Surely she'll just fall upwards. Probably get promoted to Secret Service leader. No, defense contractors. Defense contractors. I'm pretty sure that Raytheon Missile Defense may be hiring.
Yeah.
Boeing. Boeing. Boeing's face.
Yeah.
Did you see that the Boeing airliner is making like horror noise now?
Yeah, they received an update and now suddenly it's humming.
Jesus Christ. So Brian Chi, all form of radiation, including Wi-Fi, is a form of radiation. He is there because her knowledge based it is on frequency. If the mission is accomplished, the mission is accomplished.
What?
I don't know. I'm trying to understand. Brian, I'm sorry. I just.
I'm convinced that comment is a verbal virus meant to jab at our brains.
Okay. Speaking of military, did you see what happened with Concord?
Oh my god, the legendary game that lasted less long on the shelf than a head of lettuce.
Why didn't they make it free to play though?
Insurance.
Insurance.
To be honest with you, they can declare it a full and total loss if they take it on the face with insurance. If they turn it free to play, they turn it into a long-term investment or an ROI investment. So from the owning company's perspective and the publisher's perspective, it's a lot cheaper to do this than to maintain and have to go in and because like think of it, they would have to go back into the game, change the game from a purchase-based entry to a long-term free-to-play model, which would have to change all of the mathematics inside their purchasing store and so on and so forth, right? Because if you take a look at how they did their purchasing, they didn't follow the same algorithm that a lot of other free-to-play games you go through with the way that they price shit versus how much you get with each each time you buy microcurrency. There's always a certain amount that's left over, which entices you to buy more microcurrency.
That's what they do with the gems. Yeah. Like you have like.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a lot of shit that they would have to do to make it free to play.
But anyway, here's what's
they decided it's not worth it. Right.
The journalists are in an all-out cope. I saw the article. I'll probably read it tomorrow on my secondary channel. And they're like
huffing cope. 100%,
yeah, they're like, we communed with the experts that have spoken with the divine, and they have told us why it failed. And I'm like, why don't you just ask the fucking gamers? No, the experts from the academia, and they said that the price was too high. The price, $40 in today's economy, no one can afford that. I don't know how people buy Wukong, misogynistic piece of shit game, but $40, can you imagine? And then it's also the fact that the competition is fierce with these MOBA shooter, fierce competition. And it's like literally every single reason imaginable, besides the fact that it's woke as fuck. It's like, dude, even they knew that it's woke as fuck. Because like the first time they announced it, they had that absolute behemoth of a manlet that was like the she-her was placed, you know, they had like this tank, I don't even know her name. No one knows their name. But they had like this black lady on the box, and she was looking really pissed that you're even considering to purchase the game. She looked at you through the box with the utmost level of disgust and disdain for your very existence.
Yeah, you actually bring up a good point. Take a look at the presentation art, right? The stuff that they use to bridge that first gap between the game, the product, and the user. Almost all of the art is aggressive.
Yes.
Right? It's not welcoming.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you want to play the game. The characters are engaged or they're colored in ways that are garish.
Now, I noticed this with a lot of woke games, by the way. It's like the strong independent woman. And the strong independent woman, she's always looking at you with disgust, disdain. I mean, all right, so basically, like, this is, I'm just showing you the thing so you know what we're talking about. This is how they used to present female characters in comic books, right? So like, their face was inviting, it was not necessarily like welcoming, but it was like a superhero pose, and they're not necessarily smiling, but it's usually like something that's approachable, right?
Yeah,
And
it's got a stern gaze, but at the same time, it's not something that pushes you away. It doesn't have a porcupine effect, right?
yeah. So like the moment I first saw, I'm trying to find. Oh, here we go. We found the beautiful lady, right? It's like, oh god, hold on, I'll show you. People are saying, like literally the picture that I found is a TikToker saying the characters from Concord are something else. It's like literally just what came out, just what came out when I googled the lady. But yeah, like
they're certainly something else. Yeah, I mean, any game that makes you struggle to wonder why none of their characters show up on Rule 34 is one hell of an indicator.
Dude,
like,
don't fucking jinx it. Don't fucking jinx it, because I'm pretty sure like someone is going to make art of them. Holy shit. but anyway, right. So now that we put the nightmare fuel away, when I first saw her, I was like, okay, this might be like an indie game, something like baby's first video game. And then I found, no, it's actually from Sony. And I'm, what? It cost $300 million.
Yeah, it's $300 million in 8 years. And like the garbage can character that everyone memes on, right? And like the one that you just showed, having a big, strong woman or whatever the fuck in armor and all that is fine. But when I look at those characters in Concord, if I didn't know this was a AAA game, I would take a look at the character and go, this is obviously some form of asset flip. That's how literally generic. Yeah.
Well,
it's got a complex look, but at the same time, it's so fucking generic.
Yeah, I was talking about, like another feature of woke games, and by woke I mean like if you get a consultant like Sweet Baby and shit, is that all their characters are like stock characters. Like if you change the background behind them and you put like a medieval setting, it fits. You put like a sci-fi setting, it fits. You put a modern setting, it fits. Meanwhile, you look at the video game with Soul, and you look at World of Warcraft, you take a Night Elf for a Drada, it doesn't fit anywhere besides World of Warcraft. Because it's like, yeah.
Let me put it to you this way. When characters are designed as if they came from the game that they're in, it even works for Nier Automata.
Yeah.
Even though 2B and the entire Yorha units are dressed completely in a way that seems to be kind of like anachronistic or nonsensical, the environment and the story behind it still gives it a sort of verisimilitude, right?
Yeah. I actually spoke with the guy from Ubisoft, and what he said is like, in order to drive a video game like a MOBA shooter, what you want is for the players to feel attracted to the character so that they spend money to buy skins, to buy loot boxes, right? To just invest in the character. And it's not necessarily so that they can feel as if they're the character, but at least to participate in a universe where they would like to be next to the character, right? And he pointed out that...
by proxy to the character.
Yeah, he basically said none of these characters have grace. None of these characters have any type of allure. None of these characters look cool. Like, if you can't imagine enjoying just sitting down at a bar next to the other character, then it's a failed concept. Unless it's like, it's fine, like, if you're doing League of Legends and you have your Kaisa, or, not Kaisa, the Rek'Sai. You have, like, a monstrous character or something that's cool, but, it's not human. But, like, usually you want, like, okay, if you look at League of Legends characters or at Overwatch characters, right, you would sit at a bar next to Mercy, right? Like, you would enjoy that. Or next to McCree. Or next to any of the other characters. Like, you would enjoy going on an adventure even with Bastion. Or Reinhardt, right? Like, it's fantasy. You're supposed to be immersed in a world where you would enjoy spending time with these characters. But just so you know, how I would get blocked by Concord shills on Twitter would be to ask them to name me 4 characters from the game. Because they were, like, defending Concord. It's like, oh, you're playing Concord? It's like, yes, it's amazing. Name me 4 characters. They can't even fucking Google it. It takes time. Like, you can actually find the names. But ChatGPT doesn't know, right? And it doesn't pop up as the Google first search result, so you actually have to go into the wiki. You have to do too much effort, so they would just block me.
Well, I mean,
go on.
if they can't mention their favorite character off the top of their head, then they obviously didn't play it enough to even be familiar with the characters. So they too weren't part of the audience. So if they're not part of the audience, what the hell are they even talking about the game for?
Dude, remember when World
Because
of
it's just the
Warcraft...
ideology.
Remember when World of Warcraft was popular, right? And you had people with their characters as a profile. So like they would take a screenshot of their character and they would put it in their profile on Twitter, on their profile on Facebook. They would identify with that character. And they would do the same. There were people that did the same with League of Legends. There's people that do the same with anime, especially like My Hero Academia or Attack on Titan when they were popular. Like you had people with characters from those shows. Where are the characters from Concord, from all these AAA games that everyone is defending and they're saying they're fucking amazing?
Yeah, how many people have that Forsaken main character as their profile pic, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Sylvanas, yeah.
No, I'm talking about not Forsaken. My God, the Forspoken. I was going to make.
Forspoken.
But yeah, like for a while, when Blizzard still had the old school WoW forums, you know, ripping pepperonis on those guys, that was a more popular social media for people than Facebook was at the time, right? There was a period of time, like you were saying, where people were actually connecting their World of Warcraft profiles even to their LinkedIn profiles.
Yeah. There was like MMO Champion, a place where you could have actual conversations with people.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fun part is that I remember one time back when I had, like, in the early days of my consulting shit, where we were interviewing people for an IT position, and multiple people in the stack that made it to the final selection interviews and shit had some form of World of Warcraft large guild and like raiding guild leadership as part of their like we can herd cats.
Did you know that I had that as well? I actually ran one of the best guilds in the EU. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, during Sunwell, during TBC, I had like one of the best guilds in the EU, and it's interesting because we had like the tank was from Saudi Arabia, the priest was a lady from Romania. She ran a hotel chain. She was a single mom. We had a guy from Sweden, and everyone put aside their differences, and they would focus on the raid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, Monke says it right. Management in WoW is a skill. Old school.
It is a skill.
Like,
yeah. Like getting people
it's
together.
Herding cats. If you can herd cats, you can manage a team.
Dude, like you had people with so much ego and server drama, and you had to have good relationships with other guilds, and you know, you had like grown-ass men coming to it. It's like, the priest.
You had to deal with the personal problems of everyone in the guild.
Yeah, it's like, my fucking God, I remember like there was this lady came into the guild. I usually didn't have women into the guild because men couldn't behave around them, and they would just always create drama. But like there's this lady, and she comes into the guild, and we really needed a healer, and she was a healer, right? Now I thought that I'm going to just shit talk her, and she's going to leave anyway. So I was like, oh fine, you know, whatever. And we were doing 10-man 3 Drakes in Wrath of the Lich King, which at the time was like the most difficult encounter ever.
That's a hard fucking run, yeah.
And I was shit-talking her nonstop. I was just like nonstop on her ass. It's like, are you blind, woman? Can you not move? Do you not see the lava? Do you have a fetish for heat? Is this what you're doing? Are you trying to kill my... Anyway, after 1 week like that, she starts playing it, and she just doesn't make a single mistake. And then she starts flaming others. Like then she was like flaming the new people that were getting into the guild, calling them potatoes, calling them retarded. And I'm like, what the fuck did I create? You know?
Gamer chick. The birth of gamer words.
Yeah, no, literally, like she got pissed because now she, like in the beginning, I was feeling that she's wasting my time because she's not able to compete at the level we're at. But now she's competing at the level we're at, and she's feeling as if the trials are wasting her time. And I'm like, who taught you to behave like this? Jesus fucking Christ. Who raised you?
One up, man. Woo.
Jacob Andrew, notice how in the Concord reveal cinematic trailer, the characters are fit or thin. Fat robot doesn't count. Yeah, like they had like these very androgynous characters just oozing Californianism from them. And they hide them.
Bottle toss in that trailer too. That was so weird. Like the whole trailer was just
like the only white man that they had was the lizard guy, and they kept posting him everywhere when the game was failing. He was on literally every single box, like on every promotional art. It was like, look, we got white people in the game. It's like, dude, no one cares. Like the only reason we even bring it up is because we know why you're doing it. We are basically laughing because you're racist. There's no white people in Wukong, and yet people play it. You can make
People
all
play
the
it just
Nikkeis.
fine.
You can make all the Nikkeis of color, and people will still play that game. It's not about the race, but we know why you did it. It's the reasoning behind why you went out of your way to make sure that there's like no single cisgender straight white men in Concord.
Yeah, anyone that says that like the colored Nikkeis are a problem probably haven't realized that like Noir and Volume and the others are probably the most popular ones.
Oh, do you know that there was a boycott on Genshin Impact?
Well, yeah, they tried to do that with the whole Hoyoverse. And
The
everything.
Hoyoverse, yeah.
Like, they got super pissed off at Wuthering Waves.
Yeah, so Hoyoverse, apparently,
Yeah.
decided to add a new continent in their game, like an expansion pack.
Yeah.
And the Americans, the ones with various flags and paraphernalias in their bio, they looked at the color and it's like, it's not American enough. It's not Californian enough. What the fuck? It's like, why are these minorities not dark enough? Hoyoverse, be better. And you had like voice actors and other people joining the boycott. And apparently they were so successful at the boycott that the sales increased.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you why, though. Because you would go on Twitter and you'd see like these people supporting the boycott against the racist Hoyoverse. And then in the next tweet, they would be saying how they're playing the game. And you're like, bitch, what are you doing?
Yeah,
It's
they're
like
still posting their 10 pulls in the same afternoon.
Yeah, it's like, bitch, what are you... Well, actually, I'm boycotting, but I'm not paying. I'm not paying, I'm just...
I'm free to play. I'm protesting while I'm playing, but I gotta keep my login streak, so I can't lose my login streak. I gotta keep my login streak. Ludicrous shit, man. It's crazy.
You know...
They tried the same thing with Snowbreak as well. The VAs basically got all up in arms with the new direction that they decided to go with Snowbreak. And Snowbreak basically told them to kick rocks, and suddenly Snowbreak is making a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, no, it's
Like,
there's
holy
another
shit, they're
game
making
that
money
came
now.
out. Dude, like, I am actually not happy about this. I keep telling my chat, I am not happy that fucking phone and gacha games are rivaling Western AAA shit. I grew up with Western AAA shit. I want my Mass Effect, I want my Dragon Age, I want my good games. But instead, you know, you get to these Kumar games and you're like, oh, it's a Kumar game, but then it has an actual fucking story. It's got an actual storyline, and it actually has, you know, like immersion, and you're feeling like you're part of that world, and you're fighting against the Raptures or whatever the fuck. And it's like, why can't the West do this? It's not that fucking difficult. It's not that fucking difficult. Just get an order later.
If you take a look at Sensor Tower, if you guys are familiar with what Sensor Tower is, right? It's an independent like little website that keeps track of general sales, right? An expectation or an estimate of sales and shit. And look at all of those games that are on Sensor Tower and how many tens of millions a lot of them are pulling, right? This is all software as a service or game as a service that they could easily be doing inside like the West. All they need to do is give the goddamn audience what they want.
Yeah.
That's all they need, V.
Yeah. And what the audience wants is sex and violence. It's like it used to be. You know, Stellar Blade, perfect example. You got your sex appeal. You play as a beautiful, gorgeous... You don't even have to go like Stellar Blade level. I'm looking at the first Tomb Raider.
You don't even need to go super fan service. People just want good games.
Yeah, like
why do you think so many pixel art little independent games are making millions and shit?
Dude, look at the first Tomb Raider, right? It's one of the best sold games in the franchise, Tomb Raider Survivor. And Lara Croft looks beautiful, right? She's got cleavage, but like there's no Stellar Blade level fan service. However, like, her facial features look like she's scared. She's afraid to be there, and it makes you connect with the character because you want to help her on her journey. When they make the second game, they give her, like, the resting bitch face. Completely takes away all the feminine aspects from the character, from her personality. And now she's just generic and bland. Like, no one even acknowledges that she's a woman. It's just like you're playing with, I don't know, a vessel to be filled, if you will. There's
I
no
remember some of
femininity.
the games where like there was a lot of like pretty witty scenes, along with like a little bit of the whole sexual overtones and shit when she was dealing with some of the male counterparts and her rivals.
Yeah,
and all
in the
that.
first game,
The
like
later games.
in the first game, like she was about to be raped, but she shoots her rapist, and then she pukes because it's the first time she takes another human life. So it's like an actual emotional connection there. Like you actually realize that your character is like a human being and she's in distress, so you need to help her.
A character having a growth arc, V.
Yeah.
Holy shit. In 2024.
Yeah, but like basically she didn't want to kill anyone, but like when she's in that situation, that's when she kills the first person. And the feminists were livid. It's like, how can you present something like this in a video game? How can you touch about these themes? Only George R. R. Martin is allowed. It's like,
Yeah. Speaking of Martin, man, did you see the Cope show that he posted?
yeah. He cannot finish his book because fascism.
Yeah, what the hell is
Look,
all
man,
that
fascism.
shit about,
Fascism is bad, right? It's not China with the Uyghurs. It's not North Korea. It's that the AfD wins elections in Germany, so George R. R. Martin can't write his book. I have seen...
When you have enough fuck you money to just let everyone down, right?
Yeah, I have seen a really interesting explanation about it. It's kind of true in a while. Why, like it's not. I don't know if it's true for Martin, but it's true for a lot of writers. So this is going to get me a little bit on a tangent, but let me know if you're following or not, right? Like envy is a healthy emotion. Like you see that your neighbor has a car and you want to get a car as him, so you work hard and you get a car. Like this is healthy. But
envy as a motivator is good.
Yes.
Envy as a reason to do violence on another is bad.
But like you can also have the pathologic level of envy, which is you see that your neighbor has a car, so you want to burn it. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And the extreme of this creates the ideology of socialism. Fascism is disgust. So, like, being disgusted is normal for human survival. Like, you see a carcass. You're not going to approach it because it smells bad. It's repulsive. It's disgusting, right? So, like, you want to leave it there. And this is, like, biologically haywired into people so that we can survive. But the pathological level of disgust is when you go out of your way to destroy anything that you find disgusting, which is what fascists do. Anyway, right, like disgust creates fascism, envy creates socialism. Now, the idea of writers that are socialists, which George R. R. Martin is, because he is sympathetic with the ideology, he said, is that when you look at the story that he is writing, the story, it starts Machiavellian, it starts dark, but it's not supposed to be. Like, the story is about, you have all these kingdoms that are inspired from the War of the Roses in England, but you have, like, this existential threat coming. You have this evil entity that you can't reason with, which is the White Walkers, and they're coming to kill everyone. So now you have, from this Machiavellian kingdom, you have, like, various heroes rising to the challenge, and they're uniting everyone, and you have, like, the final battle between ice and fire, between the living and the dead.
Good and evil and shit.
Yes. So basically, like, his story starts from a low fantasy, evil place, and then it gradually moves to high fantasy, and it also moves to, like, an actual story of good versus evil. But the problem is that in order to create heroes, you have to create characters that are better than you, the writer. And this is something that it's very easy to notice with the artists that just flat out refuse to create beautiful female characters because they view themselves as in a competition with the character that they create. They view themselves as if they're in a competing stage, like you have all these feminists with blue hair, and they refuse to create beautiful female characters because they view themselves like, we're creating these unrealistic expectations, so they view themselves in competition. And
they covet the beauty they can't have.
Yeah, and it's the same with the writers. It's like, in order to have a hero, you need to have someone that has morals. Socialists don't have morals. Socialists is usually like, what's good for me now, what's pleasurable for me now is good. What's not pleasurable for me now is bad. Meanwhile, a hero is rooted in a set of morality and principles. And he may be, like, okay, if I let my enemy have free speech, it's not good for me, but, like, it's the principle, so this is why I'm going to defend it. And the writers just don't want to write good characters. They constantly have to subvert the characters. Now, this is why when you see someone writing like Star Wars, a new episode, right? They constantly have to subvert Han Solo. They have to subvert like all of these pre-made characters like Luke Skywalker.
Construct a strong character because they probably can't write at that level.
Yeah, because they're they're envious. Like, that's the explanation. They're envious. They view themselves as in a competition with these characters. They view themselves like not being able to rise up to the level of the characters, so they constantly have to subvert it.
that explains what they did to Picard in
Yeah,
Picard.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
holy shit.
Right. So basically, what they're saying is that R.R. Martin, like surrounding himself with these like-minded writers and like-minded individuals, and now having a different ideology than he used when he started writing, he probably can't bring himself into keep writing the characters without trying to subvert them.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way. And now that I'm like playing that logic over, I'm just kind of like mentally going over like Multiverse of Madness, Picard, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
Like the whole Star Trek shit where they basically Michael Burnham'd everyone, every anything that was ever good that ever happened in Star Trek
No,
was
like,
never the person who
yeah.
was actually Burnham.
Like look at the way socialists behave. When I say socialists, I mean woke people. Look how they behave on Twitter,
It
right?
snaps right in.
They
The math seems to fit. So
they don't usually say, "Here's what I accomplished." Like, this is what I accomplished. This is why you should like me. As no, they will say, I'm a good person because I dislike Trump. And then someone else says, no. I'm a good person because I dislike Trump even more. It's like, no, you don't understand. Trump is actually worse than the Nazis. No, listen. Trump is worse than Hitler. No, listen. Trump is the worst person in the fucking universe. You know, like, they constantly have to one-up themselves by virtue signaling, right? They cannot actually give a positive example and say, I like this person because, like, they are my hero and look at the positive traits they're having. They genuinely do not have heroes. And I'm thinking, like, the West right now, you know, when I grew up, I had Goku as a hero, and there was Naruto, and there were, like, other fictional characters that had, like, certain traits that you try to emulate. You know, like Naruto, he's got friendship, he's got the kind heart, the ability to see good in every person.
Friendship and teamwork, man.
Yeah.
Believing in yourself and believing in those around you.
Yeah, like thinking that there is good in any
values,
person, right? name me a positive role model that's now from the West. Like, because I have a son and I generally don't know. It's like, you know, what type of fictional character or even like real human being, besides myself, of course, I would be able to say,
Just take a look at Marvel and DC, right? I'm going to use Marvel more because I read a lot more Marvel than I did DC there, but in the, like, there were dark comics and dark lines and all of that shit, but a lot of the superheroes, a lot of the classic characters that we're now seeing being reconstructed, deconstructed, subverted, and converted and all of that shit, they were characters that brought hope.
Yeah.
Hope. Is the underlying word
DC
here,
was
right?
the one that was born with hope. Like, Marvel was a little bit more...
Superman brings that shit. But no, I mean, you take a look at, like, Tony Stark, Captain America and shit, like, even against the most oppressive and impossible odds, these guys are, you know, there's someone there, always there to fight for the little guy kind of thing, right? That was a popular theme because we understood, we had a reference for what heroes were, right? They had a great unifying event with World War II and the rest of that shit, right?
Yeah.
We understood what hardship was.
Yeah, you usually, it's kind of like you get a moral story out of it, right? Like, Spider-Man
Master Chief is a good example.
Yeah, Spider-Man is like working hard in order to provide for your family, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And being selfless in order to help others, even though you're in dire needs. Tony Stark is like managing to spin it around, going from drugs and alcohol abuse to being sober. So yeah.
I mean, Tony Stark is a comeback story.
Yeah.
Right.
Brian G, thank you for the $10. My bad, dudes. I thought this was a different subject. Your topic surprisingly aligns with some Air Force BS speculation streams that I follow. Seriously, my bad. I thought you were talking about Israel.
Oh, God, no, man. No. We were talking about
I would never. Never. By the way, did you see that in Lord of the Rings, the orcs now have families and children and shit?
Yeah, that's a whole other level, man. I don't know what appendix of the Silmarillion that they were looking at, but I don't recall.
Oh no, I will tell you what it's about.
They procreate.
Oh no, it's the subversion shit, right? It's the subversion shit because now Aragorn and Gandalf and all the others, they're not really heroes. They're bastards because the orcs just want to come into Gondor and live in peace, right? So what is the answer that Aragorn and Gandalf has? It's like, bring the sword to the orcs. They don't even try to negotiate with the orcs.
Yeah, man.
Right?
The orcs, Julius Caesar, Sauron, out of nowhere with a crown. Okay, cool.
I haven't seen that, but like basically, yeah, no, it's the subversion of the heroes.
You're missing some crazy shit, V.
Yeah, no, it's the subversion of the heroes trope, right? Because the whole reason that Aragorn and Gandalf and Gimli and everyone else is good It's because like they're fighting against this extinction level event. Like the orcs are coming to kill everyone. They're not there to negotiate. They're cannibals. They eat the flesh of people. They burn down the forests, right? So like they have to be stopped. But like if the orcs are actually, well, no, they're just a peaceful group of people, and you can reason with them and talk to them, and they're just misunderstood. Then Aragon is a piece of shit.
They're just looking for Lebensraum.
They're looking for Lebensraum, yeah. Chainsaw Man.
They're gonna expand into the Shire and go take care of the Harfoots.
Chainsaw Man, a positive role model. I haven't seen Chainsaw Man. And yes, there are female orcs now with children in Lord of the Rings.
With
Rings
entire families, too. That's the whole other thing, because usually the orcs are, like, they're birthed, they get marked, they are given their purpose, and then they go to build, fuck, or go to war.
Yeah. But no,
right? Like,
now they have children, like you and me. It's...
God damn. Yeah, aristocratic. They have entire families. There's even a little touching grunt and head nudge moment where an orc husband cuddles up to his orc wife after having a short discussion with his orc commander.
Yeah.
It's quite a whole other thing, Mr. Utensil. It's a whole other thing.
The funniest thing about Rings of Power Plus Privilege is that they had that scene where they were racist towards the elves because an elf doesn't sleep, an elf doesn't age, and how can you compete with an elvish blacksmith, right? So
took our gerbs.
They took
taking the Numenorians and,
taking
turning them into.
But now let me tell you what happened, right? Because like the Numenorians are viewed as the evil racist guys, right? So literally 1 year after, who's protesting against fucking ChatGPT? Who's protesting against AI? Oh yeah, the writers of the fucking show, and they're like, but an AI doesn't sleep. An AI that has all the knowledge. They live forever.
Yeah, it has it all.
You can't make this shit up, man. You can't make this shit up.
No. AI is the great poison right now. Everyone's super worried about that shit while they're taking care of everything else in the background. But AI can't do shit, man. It takes a lot of work to take an AI-driven output and actually make it work, man.
You know, I would agree with you. I would agree with you, but then I see the female orcs hugging their little orcish kids, and I'm like, you know what? ChatGPT would never write that garbage.
No. You would have to jailbreak it to get it to write that kind of nonsense.
Anyway, right. I know you have to go a little bit early. So, chat, listen. Next week, we're going to start 1 hour earlier than usual because apparently there's a time shift where Ors is living. Like the stars.
I got a group, and the group starts like now.
Yeah, he plays Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, no, we're not D&D, but it is indeed a tabletop game. But
you know, there's a friend of mine that chat knows. His name is Rags, and I will recommend that. He's a good YouTuber, good buddy of mine. Maybe I can suggest that he plays with you.
I watched that whole Rags event. I saw what happened.
All right.
Unfortunately, his level of contrarianism would not last long in my kind of games.
He's not a contrarian. He's passive aggressive.
Well, I call it that, but it's more like the weird passive manipulation kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of not my style.
Punisher is a positive role model, apparently, says Senior Sticks.
He's a positive anti-hero, but he's the guy that you love to cheer on, but you're not supposed to follow.
Okay, hold on. Before you leave, I need to tell you.
Yeah, I got a couple of minutes. Go ahead.
The latest issue of the Punisher, all right?
I haven't seen it. What's up?
Okay, I will tell you, and you need to tell me if you think it's real or I'm just speaking out of my ass. Okay.
All right. Hit it.
So, the Punisher's wife comes back from the dead. And she tells Frank Castle, that she was going to divorce him that day at the picnic before she got shot. And she hates him as a man. And she decided to take away his wealth, and she's going to keep her share, and his share she donated to various activist groups.
Huh?
And she fucked his friend.
No, there's no.
No, that is fucking way. They did that. They genuinely did that. It's in Marvel. Yes. The official comic.
This is canonized in an actual
yes
issue.
Yes.
where did they go with it? What would be the point?
Do you know that I don't remember if they took his guns as well. I think like now he
Like, was
doesn't.
he injected with drugs and he's just having a
No, no,
a
no, no, no.
super
Like,
bad
like, no,
trip
no,
or
no. She
something? Like,
came
what?
back. No, no. Listen, listen. Like, she actually got resurrected from some Marvel magic. Like,
Okay. So Castle's wife goes through a whole Crow episode. Okay, but when someone does a brain breaking event like that, there's supposed to be a reconstructive purpose for it, right? Like, it's supposed to
yeah. I mean, the writer.
where do they?
Yeah, I will
with
tell
this?
you.
What's
The
point?
writer. No, listen. The writer is anti-God and hates Frank Castle. The writer of the Punisher despises the Punisher. That's the explanation.
Is he new? Like, did they just place him on that project?
I don't know, because I'm not like an expert, but it looked like even Cyber Chad in the
Man,
chat is telling you that yes, it's
Punisher
real.
is still one of their big sellers, as far as I knew. I mean, it's still one of the big like the yes, like it's a collector's favorite from what I.
Well,
see.
exactly, which is why it's a good vehicle to push some anti-gun propaganda. Look, he's a toxic male. You need to tear him down. It's toxic masculinity coming.
That's some truly subversive shit. Like, I'm curious. You know what? Let's visit this in like I know these typically. I don't know if Punisher is running once a month or like bi-monthly or if it's once a season. But when the next issue comes out, I want to see what they do with that. Like,
So
how
this was
Castle
actually
digest
like
that
look,
shit?
this was actually a couple of months old.
This is a couple of months ago.
No,
Okay.
no, yeah, like you don't understand. I don't fucking read American comics anymore. And every now and then, a subscriber of mine is like, "Hey V, have you seen this?" And you know, like the question is always the same. It's like, "Is this some fan art?" No, V, no, this is official. Get the fuck out.
All
It's
right,
not
well-
official. And then like, no, it is. And I check it, and it's like, oh shit. It is
All right.
official.
Well, now you got me morbidly fucking curious. So by next week when we go to T with,
Oh, you can ask
I'm gonna-
ChatGPT to tell you the story, because like it probably has it in his database. Like, tell me when Frank Castle got cocked by his wife.
Oh yeah, we'll see. But I want to take a look where they're going with this. There has to be a reason why they would pull something so groundbreakingly like it basically shatters his entire reason for being
Or
the
do you
Punisher.
hate something? Like, is there something that you hate in fiction that's popular?
Yeah.
Okay,
that
look.
subversion like this.
I hate Twilight, all right? No, not Twilight, 50 Shades of Grey, right? I
okay,
hate
like
50
that,
Shades of Grey. And I am now the writer of 50 Shades. And I get to
Alright.
do whatever the fuck I want with those characters. So I can make Christian suffer. I can make it so that he becomes morbidly obese. And he's like 2 years ahead of everyone, but in reverse. And then I can make it so that, I don't know, like, they find out that Christian Grey was talking in whispers with minors, and there's now a huge controversy and focus on that, you know? Like, if you're the writer, you have the power, Ors. You have the power to write whatever the fuck you want.
Man, Punisher deserves so much better than that shit.
They took his guns! He's using like, some blades now. I'm not kidding. He's got melee weapons now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Man, you're gonna make me pirate this shit. All right. Well, I'm gonna, now,
No,
I'm
what?
gonna
No,
have
you
something
can't. You can't.
to
I'm willing
read
to
on the
bet.
bus.
I'm willing to bet. Even if you find a torrent, there's no one seeding this. Like, there's no one that you can get it off
No,
from.
man. Man, if they now I'm gonna be curious what they do with other like ultra masculine series, like say Judge Dredd or I don't know, Cable or anything like that. I wonder what they're gonna try.
Oh,
to pull
Judge
with
Dredd
them,
is
or if they
old
haven't
now.
already.
Judge Dredd is old. Like, he actually
of
ages
course,
in the
yeah.
comic, yeah.
Oh, they didn't swap the helmet to a new one.
I don't think so.
Shit.
No. They usually, like, the thing with Judge Dredd, I think he had pancreatic cancer at one point.
Dredd?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not
Wow.
kidding. Like, there was, yeah, like he's actually aging. Like, unlike other superheroes, right? Like, Superman is always Superman, Batman is always Batman. Judge Dredd is actually aging in the comics. Like, he's actually becoming old as time moves on.
Yeah, he isn't passing his shield. Wow, that's some crazy. I mean, they even did it with Logan, for Christ's sake.
Anyway, go away. Sure.
Yeah, I gotta get to the tabletop. Good talking with you once again, and see you next time, chat.
Chat, thank you for watching. And next week we'll start 1 hour earlier. Hopefully you can be here.
Hey, peace.